Welcome back to Model Questions. It's me, Jasmine. Let's get into it. The question is, what would you like to discuss related to the modeling industry? And someone said advice for modeling overseas. Now that's a good question because nobody talks about it. Models do not talk about the pros and the cons of modeling overseas. Agencies do not mention it either. So I'm gonna break it down for you from my experience. If you're with a modeling agency, right, you allow your agency to negotiate the deal between the overseas agency and your home or your mother agency. I said agency a lot just now. You want to make sure out of this deal that you're not coming out of pocket. So in most cases, if you're a seasoned model, the agency overseas will front the money for your housing and front the money for your flight. Ultimately, they take it back from the jobs that you book, but you don't have to put anything out. If you are a freelancer and you're doing this all on your own, you want to negotiate with the agency. Listen, I'm a seasoned model. This is what I've done. Here's my portfolio, my Polaroids. I would like for you to cover the housing. Depending on what they say is how you sell yourself, right? So if they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we think we're just gonna cover your flight, you wanna push for them to cover your housing. A flight is light money, right? And it's a one-time payment. You book the flight one way or round trip, depending on what your situation is, and that's a one-time payment. But if you're modeling overseas, you're staying there for a minimum of 3 months. Let them put that money out. Keep your money in your pocket. So when you go over there, you can do your test shoots on the beach. You can just go have fun and party and do whatever you do. I don't know, yoga. So that's what you want to do. You want to negotiate whether you're with an agency or not. You know, make sure as much is covered as possible. And that's it. Like, look at my body. So that's just the situation. Next question. How can I get my images from a photographer I shot with? That's another good question. Oh, y'all on point today. Well, I'm picking up some good questions. That's such a good question. It's so funny. I had my model series dinner, the last one, and one of the girls had the same exact situation happen to her. She was like, yeah, I was a new model. I moved to New York City and I did a photo shoot with a photographer and I still haven't got my images from him. Models, you have to protect yourself. It doesn't matter if you're dealing with an agency, if you're dealing with a photographer, if you're dealing with another model. You protect yourself by having contracts. It doesn't have to be anything deep. It could be a one-pager that states the date, the time, who the photographer is, who you are, and what you guys are doing. You own 50% of those images. They own 50% of the images. Without the photographer, you don't have an image. Without the model, the photographer doesn't have an image. Protect yourself. Everybody needs to protect themselves, or else you're going to end up in a situation where you shoot with a photographer. There's no documentation. They have 100% of the rights. They get to edit it the way they want. They get to post it where they want, and you're asked out. That's not what we want. Like I said, we are here and we're doing things in a new way. We're doing things in a smarter way, okay? And now we're going to address the unity. We're going to address the crown that's on my head. What y'all think? I know it needs to be pressed a little bit, but how do you press leather? Somebody got to fill me in.